Okay, so we are picking up with the classification and dichotomous keys packet. We are on the second page. For the first section, you're going to use this kind of partial diagram of the animal kingdom to answer the questions. The left section is true false, so you'll read the statement and then use the diagram to determine if that statement is true or false. And in the right hand side, you are comparing the first animal listed to the two choices, encircling the animal that would be most closely related. So for instance, the first one in the left, sharks and dolphins belong to the same class. So to figure that out, we have to find sharks and dolphins. So you can see sharks in the cartilaginous fishes and dolphins in the mammals section. So they belong to two different classes, so that statement is false. For the comparing the animals, the first animal is the snake. So we could find the snake in the reptile class. And then we're comparing it to frogs and crocodiles. Frogs are just to the left of that in the amphibians class, and then the crocodile is in the same class as the snake. So that would mean the crocodile is more closely related because they belong to the same class. So you're going to pause the video here and complete the rest of the true, false, and animal relationship comparisons. Now we're going to go through the classification of humans from domain to species. So you'll copy down the name of each of our classifications and then the characteristic that's associated with that particular grouping. So we are in the domain Eukarya, which is all of the organisms that have cells with nuclei. We are in the kingdom Animalia, which means that we're multicellular. That also means that they have to eat other organisms for food. We're in the phylum Chordata, which is all of the animals that have backbones, or all the vertebrate animals. Our class is Mammalia. There's a few characteristics of all the mammals, one being that they nurse their young, also that they're warm-blooded and have fur or hair. We are in the order Primate, which one of the distinguishing characteristics is that they have fingers. Our family is Hominidae, which means we're bipedal, meaning walking on 2 feet, and also larger brains than some of the other members of our order. Our genus is Homo, which is partially because we have a longer lifespan than some of the other Hominidae members. And then our species is Sapien, which a couple of things, we have a larger forehead and skull. So that is the classification of humans. You can kind of see on the left how we go again from big groups with some things in common to smaller and smaller groups with more and more in common. So this is an animal that lives around here, and many of you maybe call this a woodchuck, many of you call it a groundhog. It's all the same animal, and its scientific name is Marmota monax. And we're going to get into why scientific names are important. So I'm going to have you try this first. So these are 6 animals with their common names, and you can try to match each to its scientific name. The scientific names are on your paper. You're trying to match up the animal up here with its common name to the scientific name on your paper. So pause here for a moment and see if you can match them up. Okay, we'll go through what the scientific names are for each of these, and you can correct your paper if you'd like. The 9-banded armadillo is Dasypus novemcinctus. The green honey creeper is Chlorophanes spiza. Electric eel is Electrophorus electricus. The Indian rhino is Rhinoceros unicornis. The giant panda is Ailuropoda melanaluca. And eastern hognose snake is Heterodon Platyrrhinos. We're going to watch a short video here on binomial nomenclature that talks about how they come up with scientific names.
Once upon a time, there was a frog and a fly. But this is not the beginning of a fairy tale, more the tale of how these two animals got their names. Their scientific names, to be exact. You may have noticed that animals have different names in different languages. For example, the word for dog is Hund in German, Chien in French, and Go in Mandarin. So to prevent any confusion when scientists around the world talk to one another, they use a system to give all species of animal a unique scientific name. When a new animal is discovered, it is given a new scientific name. Scientific names are made up of two parts, the genus and the species. This is why scientific naming is also called binomial nomenclature, the bi representing the fact that the name has two parts. The first part of a scientific name is the animal's genus. The first letter is always capitalized. Species that are most closely related belong to the same genus. For example, the first part of the scientific name of a dog is Canis. Other animals belonging to this genus include wolves and dingoes, meaning that dogs are closely related to these animals. The second part of a scientific name is the species. This is always written lowercase. The second part of the scientific name of a dog is Lupus familiaris. A scientific name is always italicized. When it is handwritten, it is underlined. When a new species is discovered, the scientific name can be descriptive of the animal, which is the case for this frog and this fly. The fly was named Scaptia beyonce, after Beyonce because of the golden hairs on its abdomen. The frog was named Hylocertus princecharlesi, after Prince Charles because of the charity work he funded to protect the rainforest where they are found. Lots of scientific names have been inspired by celebrities or famous characters. What's important in this tale is that with their unique scientific names, these animals can be referred to scientifically ever after.
Okay, so as I mentioned in the video, binomial nomenclature is how we get the scientific name for an organism, bi meaning two, and nomial meaning name, and it's a system. So when we classify an organism, we use its characteristics to figure out its domain, kingdom, etc., all the way down to genus, and then the species name they get to pick. So that is going to be unique just to that species. So the scientific name is just its genus and species. So the scientific name will tell us a bit about what the organism is closely related to, and then sometimes the species name is descriptive, so it might tell you something about the coloring or the location where that organism was found, or sometimes like the fly named after Beyonce, sometimes it's just for fun. So they mentioned the wolf. We'll go through the classification of a gray wolf really quick. They are in the domain Eukarya, and kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, the family Canidae, genus Canis, and their species is Lupus. So the scientific name, the last two, is Canis lupus. Okay, so we are going to move on to something called a dichotomous key. So after taxonomists figure out the taxonomy, so what groups the organism belongs to, and they come up with a species name, we also need a tool to kind of help us actually identify all these plants and animals and bacteria in kind of a quick way. So this is what a dichotomous key is for. It's used to help identify living things. It's a series of questions where each will have two choices, and then depending on the choice, a direction for what to do next. So if we were to use a dichotomous key for some fictional characters like the minions here, A dichotomous key would have questions. Sometimes they're labeled A and B, or they might just be labeled by the number and have two choices. You will always start with the first question and you'll go through until you get to the name of the organism. So for our first minion here, we go to question 1 and we read both options. Has one eye or has two eyes? Minion A here has one eye, so then we go to the end here. It tells us to go to number 2. Number 2 has a single tuft of hair or has hairs spread out. So looking at our minion's head, the hairs are spread out, which means this is Minionus buteus. For minion B, we go back to number 1. We always go back to the beginning. So has one eye or two eyes? This guy has two. So we go to the end of that choice and we don't need to go any further. It's Minionus nerdus. And our third C, if we go back to number 1, has one eye or two eyes. This one has one eye, so it tells us to go to 2. 2 has single tuft of hair or hair spread out, has a single tuft of hair. So this would be Minionus alfalfus. This is another key for you to try. Again, with just some silly examples. So we've got some aliens on the right and then the key on the left. So I'm going to have you pause here and try to use the key to identify these 4 aliens. So we should have found that the first alien here is Alienus quadlegicus. 2 is Alienus blobicus. 3 is Alienus fuzzicus. And 4 is Alienus stripicus. You are going to use this insect key to identify the 4 insects on your paper. Again, same thing, starting with 1, going until you get to the name of the organism. So using that key, you should have found A is the honeybee, scientific name is Apis mellifera. B is a lightning bug, scientific name is Photinus paralysis. C is a dragonfly, Anax junius. And D is a ladybug, Coccinella septemplicata. So for your homework tonight, you're going to be doing a emoji key. So another key, just a little bit longer because we've got more emojis included. But a couple things, you always will start back at 1. And there's a little bit of vocab here, just visible and not visible, meaning you can see or not see, present or not present, meaning there or not there. And then symmetrical, just like in math, symmetrical means we can draw a line down through the middle and both sides would be a mirror image of each other. So we could do this first one together. This is the first smiley face or emoji on your paper. So starting with 1, tears visible or not visible. So no tears, so we go to 4. Tongue, visible or not visible. Don't see the tongue, so we go to 6. Whites of eyes, visible or not visible. We do not see the whites, so we go to 8. Teeth, visible or not visible. We do not see teeth. We go to 11. Mouth is upward facing curve or mouth is shape of a 3. It is an upward facing curve, so we go to 12. Mouth closed or mouth open. It is closed, so we go to 13. Sunglasses present or absent. There are no sunglasses, so we go to 14. And the last one, oval shaped eyes or crescent shaped eyes. Oval shaped eyes tell us this is Smilus traditionale. So you will write that underneath that smiley. Because they're all going to be in the same genus, we can abbreviate the genus just to the capital S. So we can just write S period traditionale. So you're going to use that key to do the rest of the emojis. And then also please try the questions on the back. And that's it for today. Thanks.